I observed my own father stay mute while she tore us apart. That's not a line from a Netflix movie. It's Jim Jones's son talking about Chrissy Lampkin in a leaked voice memo with no filters or screenplay is not only distressing, it's awful. She didn't just cheat on my father, she betrayed all of us. For years, supporters thought Chrissy Lampkin was merely the ride-or-die fiancé. But behind closed doors, she was allegedly receiving late-night calls from Cameron while Jim was out chasing money to keep the family afloat. Suddenly, the kid who has been quiet all these years is ripping down. Everything, the lies, the deceit. The nights he heard the arguments, the day he came in and saw something he had never intended to witness. This ain't no reality TV drama anymore. This is real blood, genuine treachery. And son finished narrating his narrative. Father was too shattered to say anything. Stay right there because if you hear what he says next, you will never look at Chrissy the same way again. She didn't just break his heart. She shattered everything we were holding together, and he simply stood there watching her burn it all down. This is not a rumor. It's a voicemail from Jim Jones's child. And it's currently flying across every group chat from Harlem to Houston for years ago. Chrissy Lampkin was praised as the ride-or-die lady who waited, battled, and remained. But behind the pricey shoes, VH1 cuts and faked reunions was a different Chrissy, who purportedly left broken pieces wherever she walked, included inside her own house. And suddenly, that house of secrets is blowing wide open because the one who has never stated Jim Jones' son is suddenly talking, and he's not just talking, he's exposing. We all remember the subtle murmurs that trailed Chrissy for years, whispers of an emotional attachment with none other than Cameron, Jim's closest friend, dipset sibling family. By loyalty rather than blood back then, people assumed it was just a nasty rumor. What if I told you that not only were those rumors true, but Jim's own son witnessed the fall from the front row? I was just a teenager, but I wasn't naive. I saw the DMs and how Jim glanced at her when he found out. But he continued to act as if everything was normal. This is no longer a fan idea. It's direct evidence from someone who every reason to keep silent but didn't. And now the internet is on fire because of the leak of one cryptic Instagram story only, a black backdrop white lettering that said, "You ever had to act like everything's cool knowing the woman who ruined your childhood is sitting in the next room?" There are no tags or context. However, within 15 minutes, Chrissy was trending again, but not for a new reason. Reality TV returns, but for what some are calling the Harlem House betrayal. And when bloggers attempted to contact Outfor, they were bombarded with the voice memo, a 47-second tape without music filters or edits, just a mature man. Considering the tragedies that molded his life, my father isn't flawless, but I still don't understand the way she played him. How he forgave that, I don't even believe he did. I believe he simply gave up to absorb the weight of this narrative. To return to the initial incident, the claimed infatuation with Cameron wasn't just a one-night mistake. According to insiders close to the I family, it was a 2-year emotional roller coaster, packed with late-night FaceTime chats, secret hotel reunions when Jim was on tour, and a series of work trips Chrissy reportedly made alone, but always in the same spots as Cam seemed fraudulent. That's what we believed too, till an unidentified former aide of Chrissy came out. Let's name her Kesha. Kesha worked for Chrissy between 2014 and 2016, and she says often she'd claim she was traveling to LA to organize a shoot or do fittings. But I always had to book her airfare to wherever Cam was playing. I didn't think much of it until I overheard them bickering on the phone. You know who they are, according to Kesha. Jim flew out early one night to surprise Chrissy in Atlanta, and when he entered her suite, he found Cam's wallet inside. Chrissy stood at the bedside, stunned and bewildered. I'm not sure what had happened. After that, all I know is that she told me to annul everything that followed. Day she was weeping and shivering when she left the hotel before morning accusations hit. Many were not surprised in. In fact, many are stating they spotted the symptoms all along. Here are just a few fake but extremely authentic sounding. Comment. Excerpts from Twitter X Not Jim's son stating what we've been thinking since 2012 about Chrissy Ben moving funny dips at baby mother. She played the long game, got the ring, and still dipped on him. Emotionally, Jim deserved a more honest conversation. With Rye. I recall the LHNY reunion and the way she looked at Cam as he walked up uninvited. It wasn't a good look. And just like that, The internet got its newest focus on what actually happened in the Jones family. But the story ended there because what Jim's son revealed next transformed this story from messy to sad in the second segment of his stolen voice memo. Jim's son recounts an intimate and horrible recollection that it is sending shockwaves through the society. I remember being 14 and hearing them argue through the walls. I didn't understand everything, but I knew it was about him and Cam. I overheard my father say, "You could have informed me. You didn't have to embarrass me like this." And she responded, "I wanted something genuine, Jim." And you were never truly hear that line. Never truly hear. The internet froze because, whether true or not, that's a deep lasting scar. And now it's out. After that night, everything changed. Chrissy stopped posting family photos. Jim appeared distant. And looking back, fans' previously cherished chemistry gradually vanished into awkward silence during interviews. Followers claimed the indications were all there, but they didn't want to accept it. The most dangerous lies, one user comments, are the ones we tell ourselves just to preserve a nice image online. And Jim never openly acknowledged the Cameron claims, not once. Not even when Cam sneak dissed Chrissy in a song that abruptly vanished from streaming the week after it debuted. Thus the question remains, why did Jim's son select this opportunity to finally speak? And what does this mean for the future of the Jones family? We're about to delve further because the following voice message suggests something more serious, something that may explain why Jim never defended himself, why Chrissy never got canceled, and why the people closest to them remained silent till now. The following. The audio memo stated that Jim's son's voice fell anonymously but indisputably at 2:04 a.m. and it altered everything. I hadn't spoken before because I didn't want to dishonor my father, but witnessing him shrink every year as she smiled for cameras as if nothing had happened. Yeah, that ain't love, that's manipulation. Let that breathe. It's not just about cheating anymore. It's about what happens after betrayal in the quiet. While Chrissy was out here providing relationship advice on reality shows, developing brands and flipping tables for drama, Jim was supposedly disintegrating, silently behind closed doors. And guess who was watching the whole time? I used to beg him, "Why don't you leave?" And he'd simply respond, "She's all I had, dude." That resonated with me. People often wondered why Jim never married Chrissy after all those years. Whether it was cold feet, the profession, his attitude, or something deeper such as terror, that if he let go, he'd lose not just a partner but the only structure he'd known, no matter how poisonous now image growing up in that. Watching your father chasing serenity while drowning in turmoil. That's what Jim's kid is laying naked now, not for clout, not for views, but for release. And let's talk about this next section, because here is where the tale flips. One of the oddest charges came from a private DM that was leaked to a gossip website, a former employee of the Jones family. The message said, she has access to everything. Bank details, passwords, contracts. She'd intercept his phones, erase texts, cancel meetings without alerting him. There were times Jim would show up to Ria's and be told the event was canceled only to find out later Chrissy pulled the plug behind his back. If that's true, and let's be clear, this is all alleged, we're talking about emotional control on another level. Another leaked email reportedly from Chrissy's manager to a television producer states, "Please do not bring up the Cameron claims during the sit-down. Chrissy is willing to address the trajectory of her relationship with Jim. But the Cam story is off limits." Why would it be off limits if it was never genuine? Why would you avoid a ghost until Ghost was genuine, wearing pink mink and a smile? And that's not even the oddest part, as Cameron himself is slinging shade on his Instagram account. Cam tweeted a film of himself from an old Deepet music video standing near to Chrissy's. Description reads, "Some memories age like wine, no context, no follow-up, just smoke." But the internet, oh, it took within hours. Archer Kamasi started trending, and people began digging up old clips to put together. Chrissy fans are recreating a 2016. When asked about women in business, Cam grinned and said, "Some ladies are loyal to the many today." Believe that was a direct strike. But this is a family disintegration. Years of emotional degradation buried in nice clothing and Instagram. Chrissy proposed to Jim on national television without waiting for him to ask, instead stealing the spotlight and stating, "I got this." At the time, Many people thought it was amazing. Legendary boss move. But now many wonder if it was just another strategy to control the narrative and make the world think she was the glue, while silently tugging the threads behind the scenes. And Jim didn't. We immediately accepted the suggestion, but we didn't understand the context. It wasn't cold feet. It was inner conflict, was a guy split between love and allegiance, and a son observing the whole thing come apart, and it gets even worse. An alleged audio leak provided anonymously appears to be a taped phone call between Jim and an unnamed male. Jim remarked, "She doesn't even look at me the same. I'm in the crib feeling like a ghost, like I'm in her way." Let that sink in. Not just heartbroken, not outraged, invisible, and while all of this plays out in public, where's Chrissy silent? No tweets, no Instagram postings, no denial, damage control. Merely quiet, and you know what that stillness signifies, guilt or strategy, because make no mistake, Chrissy knows how to spin a narrative. She's done it for a decade, from love and hip-hop to fashion deals. Make herself appear like the misunderstood queen. But this time the story is slipping away from her, and it's not simply Jim's son talking, but more claimed insiders are speaking up. People who used to work behind the scenes at VH1, stylists, drivers, even old acquaintances. One DM claims she always had a backup plan if she ever needed to leave away. Jim wasn't insane. He was weary. He used to say, "If she departs, I'll lose more than just love." Imagine living that way. Here's where it all connects, Jim Jones's. After 2015, his music slowed down. He stopped releasing albums as frequently, touring as much, and giving an honest in an interview about love, he said, "Sometimes you stay because going away seems like failure, even when you know it's already finished." That comment sounds like a man who lingered too long in a blazing home and a boy who watched the fire powerless holding the ashes. The fans are split. Some believe Jim's kid is simply exposing dirty laundry for fame. Some believe he wanted to retrieve his truth. But one, Chrissy's reputation as the faithful, loving, drama-fighting fiancé is disintegrating, leaving behind a decade of secrets that may easily erase everything we thought we understood. What comes next? The lawsuits, apologies, and inevitability, damage control that's coming. But first we need to discuss about the one thing no one foresaw, what Jim is currently preparing for. That this is all out. And trust me, when you hear what he's been sitting on all these years, you'll know this was never. I simply adore this about survival. Because when the truth gradually begins to unravel, you discover some folks. They weren't just enduring a terrible relationship. They were imprisoned in a performance, a long-running act. According to recent insider accounts, Jim Jones was ready to leave multiple times, but each time he drew close, something happened. A brawl would be caught on video, an old feud would resurface, and guess Chrissy always had the right counter-narrative ready, according to one former stylist who worked with her. Both of them at any given time, Jim trying to pivot out. She'd suddenly become the victim publicly, she polished. It weeps on camera, then calls the shoots off. The insider even recounted a specific instance backstage when Jim was silently holding it together during the reunion special. Chrissy went in and urged, "Don't forget what's on the line." He sat down and never spoke a word after that. So what was genuinely on the line? Chrissy is holding on to something considerably more powerful than Jim. Whether it's money, contracts, or secrets, the world will never forget. But here's where it gets much worse, according to two alleged industry insiders. One from defunct reality TV production firm, and Chrissy, who purported to be a talent manager, allegedly held secret meetings with officials about building her own second life, which wasn't necessarily amorous but strategic series that featured Jim at all. One where she was the star, brand, and boss, and if Jim didn't cooperate correctly, she knew the bones were physically buried. Of course, this is all alleged, but the timeline begins to appear a bit too nice, especially when you consider the most recent bombshell, an anonymous audio recording published 3 nights ago. The voice is substantially distorted, but what is said is obvious. I told her, "If you leak that recording, I will be done." She answered, "But darling, you're done." When I discovered I was simply and apparently, the internet is positive the voice is Jim's, and that recording may be the suspected film from that infamous 2014 hotel incident in Atlanta, which was supposedly lost due, if what people are piecing together is right, Jim's son has just submitted a cryptic tale with no words. An old family portrait torn in half down the center, one side of which was Jim. The other side fans are DMing, tagging, and resharing to find out if this means Jim and Chrissy are definitely done. But insiders are now saying Chrissy's next move is already in play. She's supposedly shopping around for a new contract and a tell-all documentary, which she controls the narrative and finally speaks her truth. I don't know what control is, but the people I'm not buying that. Not after hearing what Jim's kid had to say and seeing years of silence now explode into difficulty, especially after what happened next since now Mama Jones. Yes, in an unexpected interview footage from in a future episode of the podcast, Jim's outspoken mother, Mama Jones, states, "I've been informed y'all she wasn't correct, but you claimed, I'm not crazy, I just saw the devil." Behind the diamonds, she goes off. Have you ever seen your child fall in love with a storm? He dances in lightning and believes. It's a light show, but that storm was never going to finish. It merely waited till he was too tired to leave, said Jones. Chrissy separated Jim from his family, which made holidays difficult and family gatherings feel during interrogations. She even implies that Chrissy threw away letters Jim wrote to his late friend stack bundles, and for those who know Jim's background, that one stung home. So now we have Jim's son, Mama Jones' alleged former employees and unknown insiders all singing the same chorus. Chrissy wasn't the victim, she was the puppeteer, and Jim was simply a loyal heart trapped in the strings. The internet is demanding answers. Chewy Free, Jim Jones, Chin, Chrissy Exposed, and Family First are populating fan-created timeline charts, receipts, and complete breakdowns of when the reasons for Jim's silence have gone public, and celebrities are weighing. Rapper Mayo tweeted, "Ain't no true one going to let his family drown in silence, salute the sun for rising." Kim Bella, a reality celebrity, remarked on a Shade Room post, "It took you long enough." Legendary producer Swizz Beatz loved a fan remark that said, "Jim deserved more than faked love and true suffering." According to some insiders, Jim is already in talks to issue his own message, maybe in the form of music. Word on the SA Street is that he has made an entire EP named Red Flags and Roses, all agony, all honesty, all him. And get this, he's intending to launch it. Without notice, no promotion, no announcement, just raw emotions straight to streaming. And the streets are ready. Because for the first time, Chrissy is still silent and has not given a comment, but her team is allegedly crafting a formal response, whether that implies a lawsuit, a documentary, or another passive hostile IG post. Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The House of Cards is dropping what appeared to be black love goals on TV are being revealed as emotional warfare behind the scenes, and the individuals involved are no longer hidden. This narrative isn't done. In fact, it's just getting begun, since for every silence broken, there's another fissure, another truth forcing its way out. And we, the people, are watching, wondering what more they've been hiding. Because if Chrissy could manage all of this in plain sight, what else did she hide behind? Meanwhile, what else did Jim give in the name of loyalty? And most importantly, what would you do if you learned that the love you spent your life around was never about love at all? Was it fame, control, or anything extra? Is Jim finally waking up? Is the son courageous or messy? Is Chrissy the villain or a victim of spin? Please share your opinions in the comment box below. In the comments, press the like button, subscribe for the next drop. Please keep those notifications on, because you already know the next phase of this drama will be much wilder. We have more audio, leaked texts, and hidden secrets are being revealed, and if you thought this was dynamite, just wait until you see what follows next. So now that the disguise is gone and the truth is pouring through the gaps, what? Suppose Chrissy was ever actually for Jim? Or was this whole affair one long, miserable performance? Did Jim's child just articulate what we've all been asking for years? Is this the end of a toxic love tale, or the beginning of a "we want to hear everything"? So drop your replies, hot views, and conspiracy theories in the comments below. Do you trust Mama Jones? Do you think Jim will finally speak out through music? Should Chrissy even have forum to defend herself? Like this video if you noticed an ounce of truth in what was said. And subscribe, you're tired of the falsehoods and prepared for more raw reality. Ring that bell, because the next spill may simply shock the internet again, and trust you will not desire to miss what's coming. Isn't just drama. Revolution is no longer a trivial problem. Receipts stay stuck. Seats stay stuck.